This new Go Live Together feature definitely needs some work. I just finished cleaning the equipment. There wasn't much to do today. We've only got one guy out working, and he's got 2 aerations. When he gets back, he's going to help me with equipment. This mower, it just shakes violently when the blades are engaged. This bar like rattles quite a bit, and it's a fairly new machine. It's only got 261 hours on it. And I've got some mowers, those 3 mowers, and this one. This one just has a short cord. The cord only goes out to like right here. It's only like a foot long. So that needs to be fixed or replaced. Let's see, what do we got here? This mower, it's hard. I don't know if you can tell, but that tire is like totally bent. It's because that like what kind of looks like the color gold plate is bent. So this mower needs to be fixed, and then this one, let's see, belt needs a new belt, and then this one is just weak. It's got, you turn it on, it's like whoa, 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 like it doesn't power through. Oh, and then I've got these 2 trimmers. Not quite sure what's wrong with them though. Let's see. Head won't turn. Yeah. So when you put the string in there, you can't turn it. It's really sucks. Let's see what's wrong with this one. It's in Spanish and can't really read Spanish very well. So I'm not sure what is wrong with that. So everything's done, nice, tucked away, except for we got one mow guy working. It's got the aerator, so that's why his machines are here, but they're clean, blades sharpened, and ready to go. Just need him to get back. So I've got a link so that if somebody wants to join me live today, ask questions and, maybe just chat, just talk, you know what I mean? Let me know. So we've got 2 trucks that are down. Oh, that was one thing I was meaning to do today. Somebody from, I guess, a big dealership reached out to me on Facebook yesterday. It's just a sales dude, probably trying to drum up some work, just a car salesman. But I thought that was kind of cool. They reached out and he's like, "Hey, I work for this dealership just right down the road. I see your trucks everywhere. If there's any way I can help you with, getting new trucks, let me know." Thought that was kind of cool. I do have a fleet account with Chevy and Ford. I'm not quite sure what they sell mainly, but anyway, I have those fleet accounts, but I've never done anything with them because they've never called me. And I've gone to both places, sat down with them, talked with them. They sounded all excited. They're going to get me vehicles, and then they never freaking called me. Which I've had kind of a tough year anyway, so I probably wasn't ready to be buying trucks this year anyway. But I will next year for sure. I've already got it as part of like my 2024 business plan. You know what I mean? We need to get all these new trucks. This keeps happening. This kind of stuff keeps happening. This isn't even that. I mean, it's not a new truck. You know what I mean? It's one of those like Ford work trucks. I don't know what year this one is. I want to say it's an '07, but not 100% sure. Let's see. '05. It's an '05 truck. My trucks range from '05, maybe even earlier than that. I've got a '99, but the '99 is not a Mo truck. In fact, it's a '97. It's a garden truck. Um, it carries that dump trailer all the time. Custom bed for all the tools. And I think it might be a 17. That's 2017 garden truck. So, my trucks range from like, older to newer. You would think that they're not so old that the transmissions and stuff break, but they do. So it's really annoying. So next year I'm gonna start. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Well, I kind of do know how I'm gonna do it, but I don't care how hard it is. I'm gonna start replacing these old trucks with new trucks. I didn't really want to go like brand new, like 2024 kind of new. Um, when I say new, I mean like 2018. You know, 2018 to now. If I can get a good deal at 2024s or whatever, 23s, whatever they have at the dealership that's like never been used, I'll definitely consider because um, we spend over $150,000 a year on repairs, parts, all that kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, 150 grand. I would rather just pay for new vehicles. You know what I mean, and have monthly payments or pay them off. So my goal, here's my plan. My plan is to start off with possibly two uh, new trucks next year, and I make monthly payments. At the same time, I'm saving up my profit, When I make enough, I'll probably pay the trucks off, and then get two more, and then just keep repeating that process over and over again. That's kind of what my plan is right now. You know what I mean? But as the season starts and goes, you kind of change your mind about things. Your priorities kind of shift a little bit. But that's really what I feel like I need to do. Because not only that, but snow is becoming kind of like a real, like, it's starting to get busier. And it's not only busier, but it's actually something that I really need to do in order to keep, you know, all my field workers paid throughout the winter. Um, which I know I've talked about how you really shouldn't pay everybody just because, but if you actually have the work, you should. But you have to have the work and you have to have the revenue and you have to make sure your bills and your company is going to be paid. So we're going into this winter with 8 snow plow workers. Well, 8 snow workers. 8, which is, if I remember right, a quarter, no, 1/3 of my workforce. So, and I feel confident with that. I mean, I feel confident, but that's the goal. But if we get to winter and we don't have enough money to pay for everybody, we're just going to go with what we can afford, no matter how big the list is, because remember, they prepay. So right now we have enough for 3 workers to be paid all winter, starting December 1st. Actually, the start date for the snow workers this year, I think, is the 24th, November 24th. So their first check will be December 4th, something like that. So they'll be starting November 24th on call, or whatever we want to call it, but they'll be our workers, whether it snows or not. And then all the way until March, like March 4th or whatever, that'll be the last paycheck for the last week of December. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm just going to start a live out here. So remember, I was doing lives in my office, and I feel like, that was just kind of like, I don't know, it was easy for me to do, but I don't think it was, like, I guess I wouldn't say boring. It's probably boring. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try doing them out here, because I usually on Saturdays do have workers coming in, not like field guys, coming in and out. And today we just got one guy who's going to be coming back after doing 2 aerations. He left a little while ago, but one of his jobs is, probably 30 minutes away. So I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I also have a link up. Well, I don't have it yet, but I'm going to put it when I get my computer up and running right now. To So somebody can, we can have people join today. See how that goes. Um, so I don't have a setup yet, but I'm going to try and work on it right now. Okay. Let's see. What if I do that? It might work. Might not work, but we'll see. I'm pretty sure my computer's going to fall. Oh yeah, I made myself a sandwich. Microwaved it. Let's see. You know what? I do need to charge the iPad. I've got to be really, really careful because this phone's going to fall. There's gravel on the ground. The screen will crack. All right, I'm logging in. There's definitely some flaws with the go live together feature. in the... Can you guys hear me, or should I get my headphones? What do you say? Headphones. I think I'm all right. So, in case you're wondering, I'm trying to find the link so that I could possibly get somebody on here with me. It's really annoying that it's like kind of hard to do, hard to find. And I texted it to myself, so I thought that I could find it on here. Oh, you know what? I might be able to, actually. Shit. Nope. Oh my gosh. Really annoying. Sorry, guys. I will get this at some point. I don't understand why it's so complicated. Okay. I might have figured out a way to do it. Come on, link up, link up. Come on, work. There it is. All right, we're getting closer. If you're bored out of your mind, let me know. All right, here we go. There is the link. If somebody wants to join that, let me know and we can chat it up. Otherwise, it'll be a short live today. So my last, I don't know, I guess 2 or 3 videos have been basically me explaining how bad the year was. Now, you know that I like to talk about the good and the bad, right? But this year, things were so bad that I couldn't even post it. I couldn't even, well, not that I couldn't post it. I just couldn't, like, I didn't have time to talk about it. What's up, Bill? I didn't have time to do videos because I was in, what do you call it, like code red stage where I had to figure this out. I thought that was the most important thing in the world, so I had to try and figure that out. And then we finally did, and it was not only just did we figure it out, but it was like, a slow process to get back, start going the other direction. And I can say, guys, right now, things are so much better than they were, 2 months ago, maybe three. They're not perfect. It's not like we're still, it's not like we're like the profit account is getting full or anything. It's not. But we're managing it to where we have enough money for everything. We still have all our workers, which is just the most incredible thing of the whole out of this whole thing. That is the one thing I just keep holding on to be proud for the year, because um, our revenue is just insane, crazy, like high. So that's good. But if you're not actually putting money away, um, it's kind of sad that you can bring in, $360,000 in 1 month and not have anything to show for it. Like, that's pretty embarrassing, actually. And it is, and it's not. You know what I mean? Like, I have friends that are brutally honest with me, and because of the situation that I was in this whole year, um, they haven't ripped me a new one because of it. They're actually like pretty supportive. Now, I don't know if it's because in their minds I was so down that any kind of like more negative feedback would be kicking me while I'm down, or that legitimate reason that, hey, we still have all our workers, everything's still functioning, we have all our equipment, like everything, we have everything we need. We're just not putting money away in profit. That's the kicker. We've been paying for everything, and I've been getting paid. Not as much as I was last year, I will tell you that. Probably more than half, definitely more than half of what I made last year. Uh, but I'm still getting paid. You know what I mean? Like, I still have money in my bank account, my personal bank account. I still have savings in there, all from this year. So I mean, so that's actually really good for me. So, and all my workers are getting paid. Bonuses are getting paid out. We're doing good. The only thing is profit is not getting paid. Like, it's not, we're not making any profit. So that's the bad thing. But I will say, um, and to me, that's the most important thing. You know what I mean? There's probably way more important stuff I'm missing. I'm just letting you know, like, if you run a business, you typically want, the profit is your report card, in my opinion. In my opinion. Um, there's other factors you could determine, like what makes success for your business is like revenue, your bank account, like your personal bank account, the amount of customers you have, the amount of employees you have, the amount of employees that buy houses, which is a measurement that we do here. Doesn't measure how successful we are. It's just kind of a goal that we have. We have our fifth employee getting a house. And it's just such a good feeling, you know what I mean? And you can use that to fuel the other employees because it just sparks inspiration and stuff like that. Um, so there's a lot of different ways to measure success. I just somehow got brainwashed because of Profit First, that book, the author, which I totally bought in, and I bought in. I'm still bought in because I love that, you know. I love that whole concept of being in control of your money, so much so that you absolutely have profit. You know, to me, that has always been my report card ever since I've learned how to do Profit First, and so not being able to do that just makes me personally, my situation, the way that I run my life and my business, just makes me feel like I've kind of failed this year. Um, But you know, that's just one part of it. There's obviously some great things that came out of this year, and I'll hold on to those and lean on to them. But yeah, my profit. And but one of the things that came out of this whole thing is that I can like I'm ready for like I'm ready for next year, like more so than I was in the past, because we've leaned down. We've done so many things trying to fix our problems this year that we learned so many things that we could have done better, and now it's part of our business model. So we're going to be doing better. So that's cool. But what I will say is the one thing that is awesome is that the winter is coming, and if we get through the winter because of the plan we have, you know, um, basically once we finish this season and go into winter, and if we get through the winter, we start fresh. We start like ready to go with all the new education we have from this year, and still have, like, what I would call great employees, a good customer base, great systems, and apply that to a year that hopefully spring starts when it's supposed to. But even if it doesn't, those are some of the things that we've learned going forward. If the season starts a month and a half later than it did than it's supposed to, um, we know what our drill is going to be. We know it's not a drill; it's a real practice that we're going to implement, and things like that. And going into the winter, I feel like I want to say light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I see the light at the end of the tunnel because of the plan we have for winter. We're already doing pre-sales. So not only do I see the light at the end of the tunnel, like I see the light really big and I see the tunnel really close to me. So I'm like, I'm really ready. We've got all of September, which if I remember right, we're booked out, um, for like 2 weeks. So we'll be booked out till October. October comes, it's our busiest month for sprinklers. It's always busy. And we've already got a bunch of confirmed, winterization stuff that we're going to do. So based on that, and then we'll have, half the workforce, because most of the Mo guys will be done in November because of all the cancels that we'll get. And some of my workers actually, that's when they like to start their winter break that aren't doing snow clearing. So I'm really excited for winter this year because we are about, so I want to say we're about halfway funded, half, which is amazing for it being September, the middle of September, and we're halfway funded for winter, meaning we have enough money for the bills and we have enough money to pay for half of the snow plow guys. So we basically need is enough money for the rest of the snow guys, um, and salt. So basically, if we keep doing what we're doing, um, you know, and here's a cool little fact. I'll just throw this out there: is um, there's still a list of customers that haven't signed up for this year that were our customers last year, and they've all been taken care of like freaking amazing. Like the best service we do is basically snow clearing, and so they haven't signed up yet. And if those people sign up, we will be funded because we'll have enough money. So, and it's not that big of a list either. So, um, it's looking good. That's what I mean by it's looking really hopeful. this year because once we get funded for snow, I can literally just go, you know what? Screw this year. It was a bad year. I can forget about it, take what we've learned from it, but just forget about it. Just 2023 is over and I can forget about it. Go into 2024, fresh start. You know what I mean? Like, not in a hole like we did this year. We started basically our first week of services was uh, the second to last week of April. All right. That's crazy. And we were in a hole. Like, I was in a hole. We had no money. We were zero money in the bank account starting. Like, it was just bad. And that week we probably had $25,000 payroll that we needed to pay. So literally everything we made that week like went to just pay everybody. And we kind of continued doing that for a while, and then so that's basically how it is right now. If we go to winter, if winter started, um, we can forget about the year and just look forward to the next year because I think we'll be in great shape. So that's where we're at. That's where I'm at, and that's just how it is, and it's all good. So we've leaned down quite a bit. We've looked at every single expense, and not just me. Two other people, two and a half, almost three people, looked at every single thing, um, every single penny we've spent all year. We can track it. All eyes are on it. And so we look, hey, do we need this? No, we don't. Let's get rid of it. Hey, can we lower the cost of this? It's really important to do that, guys. I actually, I had a friend who I saw one time, basically lowering bills, and I thought at the time I was like, and I don't say anything because if it's dealing with money, I try to kind of stay out of it for anybody that I know. Um, I just kind of tell them what I do or what I pay for, and I was thinking like, why are you lowering why are you canceling certain things? You may need them tomorrow or in a week or whatever. It's like, why not just the cost savings is so tiny. Like, why not just keep it? Um, I didn't say anything because it's not my business. But I now know why my friend did that. I now know, like, not that he told me or anything, but like, because I'm doing it now. Anything that I can lower the bill, even if it's just for a week, I'm going to do it because all that savings helps the company run or go into profit. I mean, it's just that simple. Um, I guess the biggest lesson I learned out of this year is you you have to make more money than you spend. If you're literally spending more money than you make, you have serious problems that need to be fixed. Um, and now I'm taking that mentality into the start of the new year when the new season starts. Because I'm already doing it now, but when the new season starts, month one, day one, week one, because we're going into that mindset in the snow with the snow clearing. We're going to have office people in here that don't bring in money. And we have a plan for that. We've had a meeting with everybody and said, this is how we're going to do winter. Yes, it doesn't sound awesome, but that's the way it is for this year. when we start the new year right and we continue with our savings the way that I normally save, we can go into the winter with a little bit more freedom. But this year, we're still trying to get through this year, and so this is kind of the plan for the office staff over the winter. This is what it is. Um, and it's one of those things too that I've learned this year is like, dude, you got to make tough decisions to keep your companies surviving. You got to do it. You have to, no matter, you know, you're gonna have workers, employees that have been there, and obviously I'm trying to keep all my employees even over the winter. But at the end of the day, something I learned from last year and this year because of the winter and this year is the company has to be first, or else there won't be a company in the short time that your employees or you have discomfort because of that short time of discomfort. You can act, and you'd rather not be discomfort. You'd rather just try and you know walk through that really bad time. You could lose your business. You could lose your business. I went from thinking my business is indestructible, invincible, like always make enough money, like just have all the money that you want coming in. I literally thought that. I literally thought, you know what, I can, I can buy anything I want. I can have enough money for winter, live comfortably, and my workers. Like I literally thought that until I got this like rude awakening this year at the beginning of the season. Just smacked me in the face, dude, hard as hell, knocked me down, and then I realized, oh damn, like bad things can happen, you know. But there's so much more potential for good than there is for bad things, as long as you're up for working your ass off and surround yourself with workers that are wanting to do the same thing and get paid. If you got workers that want to get paid, not just want a job, but they want to make real money to change their lives, you have those kind of workers, and you can accomplish so much. Hey, Bill, I see your message here. It's great to see someone so aware of their expenditures. I see so many others just winging it as they go. And many times they don't realize they basically work for free for the year. Yeah. What's up, Walter? You're finally back. When I was trying to get this thing going this year or this morning, I was like, where the heck's Walter? I need to know if like he can see me or hear me. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Walter, man. He came this winter in February, and he was here for a few days. And it was awesome having Walter here. Um, Gave each other some good advice, all that stuff. He obviously took back um, a lot of things that he learned here, a lot of examples that we do here. He took there, and just like I don't know, I guess it was like maybe 4 weeks ago, maybe 5 weeks ago. Um, he called, local pizza place here, not Papa John's, and just bought my company pizza for everybody. It was amazing, dude. Really appreciate that, Walter. It was really cool because that was during a time where we were, there was a lot of tension here because we're still trying to figure out what was going on, like making some changes, hourly changes, and people were not all super. It wasn't just like the happiest place on earth here. And that, I wasn't even thinking of rewarding people or anything like that. Not that anybody was doing anything wrong. It was just like trying not to spend any money. And then we had all that pizza here and all the drinks, um, and I was able to like give that to people, and it's just kind of like it changed the mood. Like we really needed that, and didn't even know we needed it. So I want to thank you, Walter. And I know I said thank you that day, but it really meant a lot to me. Um, and that was really cool of you to think about us, during the middle of busy season. You know what I mean? So thank you. But yeah, um, it's so easy in this industry to work for free. It really is. And I went to I'm in a mastermind group, and we meet every quarter in a different state. And we were in Nashville. I don't know, whenever the start of the quarter was, and one of the big topics was somebody brought up is like, why do we why is this industry an industry where if a customer's upset, we say, okay, we'll do it for free. We'll give you all your money back, even though we did the job. You know what I mean? And we did it right, but maybe we didn't do it in a way the customer thought, or maybe we did it late, or whatever the reason is, right? Or maybe whatever. And it's so true, but I know that's not your question, Bill, but it just reminded me of that. But it is something like when you've got a full day's worth of work, which in our industry usually, a lot of companies, they don't answer the phone because they're so busy. You know what I mean? They've got so much work for the amount of people they have. They can't keep up. And so all this money is coming in. But if you actually took that money, set it aside, wrote down every single expense, including wages, the checks, all your expenses, I'm talking everything. If you have an answering service, whatever, every single penny that you spend, you take that money, you look at what you spend. Did you actually pay for everything? That's the part that's really hard for people to figure out, and for me too. For me, it's still kind of hard. I mean, it's still hard. So here's my guy. Right on. Hopefully, um, everything's all good. Todo bien, bro? Nice, it is. Just gonna take the aerator off, clean it. Good morning, Dandy. What's up? Good morning. Yeah, you caught it live. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while either. Nice to have you here. Walter, you taught me so much. Management systems, most important, culture. Awesome. You know what? I've tried to create a nice culture here, but this year, Walter, I've actually um, learned so much more about culture, and we've implemented a lot different stuff into culture. We're doing weekly meetings now every Wednesday. The whole company, the whole company's there, uh, and we give out this what we call a pledge award. It's it's an acronym, right, for all the values that we're trying to cultivate and hire and fire with these new values. Not really new; they're just. It actually took a lot of time to figure out what our values are. It basically took all the managers in a meeting, and this was probably like 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, actually. Yeah, 5 years ago, we figured out what our core values are. Sorry, it's gonna get loud. Um, and so, these last 5 years, we've kind of like honed in on it and what our core values are, and then we put it into an acronym, right? Pledge. So P stands for professional. L is leadership or leader. E is efficient, because we've got some really good, efficient people. They go job to job to job to job. You know what I mean? They have their big list and they get it done. They figure out a way to get it done. So that's efficient. D is do what's asked. A lot of times we tell a customer or a worker, hey, we need you to do this. And we're only telling you to do this because it's important for the company, it's important for the customer, it's important that you do it. Instead of arguing, why am I doing this? Why can't so-and-so do this? So doing what's asked is the D. G is genial. It's another word for friendly, because we couldn't figure out how we're going to add the F into, an acronym. So genial, you have to be friendly and genial here. And yeah, so that's pledge. And hold on, I'm missing one. E in the pledge is eloquent. Be an eloquent communicator. So that's what pledge stands for. And you know what's really funny is I had all those things written down. In genial, I had friendly, right? Because you got to be friendly here. And then communicator. I had communicator. I didn't have eloquent. So I don't know if you can hear me with this lawnmower. Yeah. So what I did was, you're not gonna believe this. Maybe you will believe it. But I put all those words in, and I couldn't figure out an acronym for all those words, right? So I was like, there's got to be an acronym for this. And I mean, I don't know how long I spent every chance I got trying to figure it out, and I couldn't figure one out. So then I asked ChatGPT. I said, ChatGPT, I need, I wrote this down. I said, I need an acronym for these core values. And I wrote the core values, and it did its thinking thing, and then boom, it spit out pledge. And it actually changed the word friendly to genial and changed communications to eloquent, which means communicator, a good communicator. So I thought that was freaking amazing. And that's, I've done so much with Chat GPT. It's pretty incredible. But anyway, Bill, understanding how to calculate an hourly rate is a big need in the industry. Most just ask others in a group. Yeah, it's true. And it's based on what your needs are too, which is the other thing that I even got caught up in. My early days was like, oh, everybody's charging $55, so I'm going to charge $55. You know, but you got to figure out what your costs are. What does it take for you? You know, if you have great workers, okay, and you have great equipment, I'm talking great equipment, not just good equipment, like great equipment. And let's say your pay, like with bonus, and benefits and stuff like that, are included in your cost. It makes sense that your price is higher. It's like, dude, if I looked at my numbers, which we've done, not we've done it for sure 2 years ago with the mowing, and we came up with our hourly rate, which was $80 an hour. We actually figured it was 75 at first, but then we forgot to add drive time, and so it's $80 an hour. So once we had that number down, once we saw clearly 100% that was the number we need to make per hour when we're mowing, once we saw that, it was just like, that's what we got to charge. Like, I don't care what everybody else is charging. That's what we need. You know what I mean? That's what we need to pay for everything that we're doing. By the way, my phone died the last live because it doesn't tell me how charged it is. Let me see if I can. I don't want to lose this. Okay, got plenty of battery left. But the last live I did, it got disconnected because the battery died. All right, where was I? So if I were to do my numbers, okay, let's say in your case, because a lot of you guys don't have the overhead that I have, right? If I were to do my numbers and I had a very low overhead, I'm talking low overhead. I had one person in the office, maybe that same person did the estimates, and maybe even that person also went out in the field and did work too. And then I had like 2 trucks, you know what I mean? Maybe 3. And I had maybe four employees, maybe 3 field guys. And I was out in my garage. I was working in my garage, and I had and my mom paid the bill, paid the rent, right? Like just the lowest overhead you could think of. But you really ran your numbers on what it cost you to run your business, right? You looked at the equipment you have, and let's say you had decent equipment. All right, maybe you had you have to have decent equipment if you're gonna have a lawn care business. You want to have decent equipment. You don't have to have the best, but you definitely don't want like homeowner style mower, trimmer. You might have to start that way, but your goal is to get more commercial quality stuff, right? So let's say you did your numbers, you ran your real numbers, and you had the lowest overhead on the planet. And it showed that your hourly rate with a profit, because you have to add that profit at the end, right? So you figure out what all your costs is, including taxes, including labor burdens of fees and state and federal taxes or whatever, even the whatever. Let's say you did all that, and then it tells you, you know what, your hourly rate needs to be $30. Now I'm telling you the lowest numbers possible, right? But let's say you want to have a 20% profit margin, right? So you're $30 plus 20%, so you're at $36. You need to make $36 per man hour to make a profit and to pay everything, right? That's what you should charge. You know what I mean? That's what you should charge. Don't look at what your buddy over there is charging. They got the same overhead as you, and maybe they're charging $55 an hour. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's better to charge more if you can get away with it, right? I mean, if you could, you know, I'm just telling you, shouldn't worry about what other people are charging. You should just worry about what you charge and what you need. And if you need, again, doing a real crazy scenario here where your mom's paying the bills for you and you don't have any overhead, and you got to, in order for you to pay for everything, $36. Okay, that's what you should charge. But know your numbers, because if you don't know your numbers and you're charging $36, you could be going in the hole and not even know it until one day you're gonna get a big ass wide awakening, and you're gonna get slammed, and things are gonna be bad. So all I'm saying is, if it needs, once you know your numbers and you see it clearly and there's no mistake on what that number is, that's what you should charge. That would be the best, kind of, what do you call that? I don't know, life of the industry. You know, those that need to charge $85 an hour should charge $85 an hour. Those that need to charge $36 an hour should charge $36 an hour. And the difference, the customer should see the difference as to why the price is different. Why is that? You know what I mean? When you got somebody that's charging $85 an hour but has low equipment, nobody's answering the phones for them, they're not going to stay in business long. They're not. You might have a few customers that will pay it and they don't, whatever, you get away with it. But over time, you can't scale it up because nobody else is seeing the value that you provide. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm at $80 an hour, but everybody can see my trucks everywhere. I mean, on any given day, somebody um, on a main road can flag one of my trucks down if they can't get a hold of me, because that's how we're everywhere. You know what I mean? They can call, and we're reliable. Rain or shine, we're mowing your lawn. We mow in the rain. That's how we have to. We have too many customers not to. If if we sit out on a rain day, we just missed out on 115 houses of revenue for the week. We can't get that back. We can't get it back. Um, you know what I mean? So we have to we can charge that much because we're super reliable, and you know, compared to another company that's charging what we're charging, if they don't have the setups and everything that we have, the customer's going to see more value in us. It's just the way it is. So I don't know. Hopefully that made sense to people. Nico, what's going on? Hey, dude, I'm still really, really upset that I deleted that freaking live that we did last week, man. That was such a good live, dude. Such a good live. I almost want to recreate it again, but it's just not really genuine to do that. But it was such a good freaking video, man. I'm so mad at myself. And I didn't get to watch it back. I didn't get to see it ever again. But I felt like at the time, the way we were talking, dude, I feel like so good. We were just like going into everything the way we do it, and it was just flowing so good. So anyway, maybe we'll do another live sometime. Um, yeah, we'll make a better one for sure. I think we should. Uh, Michael, it's like having a cheat code when you know your numbers. It really is. It really is. And not only like is it better for your business, but it's like better for you mentally too, because I have this saying here at my shop where we say, if we're not making money, what are we doing? If we're not making money, what are we doing? We say that to each other a lot in the office when we're trying to figure out like pricing, because like for example, changing a valve for us, we have to charge $360. Now, we don't know our sprinkler numbers as good as we do our mowing numbers, but I'm just trying to give you an example. And the so when we were looking at that sprinkler number, we're like, man, are we going to get customers? Well, if we're not making money, what are we doing? And that's the equalizer. That gets us to go, oh, that's what it is then. Okay, you're right. If we're not making money, what are we doing? Um, it's not a charity. Sadly, it's not a charity. We can do charity work, but not every service can be a charity. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's definitely a cheat sheet when you know your numbers. And the thing about the numbers, it is an ongoing thing. Like we did our mow numbers 2 years ago, and it's really simple to think, well, this is the price it's always going to be. But we ended up adding more office personnel that we thought of just because we needed them so badly. We didn't we didn't even think to change the numbers. So that hurt us. Those are little things that creep up on you before you realize it. It's like boom, you're back in your same early stages thought process where you don't really think about these numbers because you're making a lot of money coming in, but when you think about it, you end up paying more than you got, and it's like so. I met somebody at that group that I go to every quarter. Um, they there's a guy there that redoes his numbers every 3 months. Sorry, I'm thinking because it might even be monthly, but I think it's every 3 months. He does his numbers every 3 months, and changes his prices accordingly. And you know, Rachel was like, she's the one that talked to the guy, and he told her that, and so she was all like, "Whoa!" Like, so we were having a meeting here one time, and she's like, so and so say they do their check these numbers every 3 months, and we need to do that too. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So here's the thing: I'm not good with numbers. I'm here telling you that it's so important to do numbers, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I sat there, Michael, if you're still on. He basically showed me, pointed the finger at where to get my where to find like the spreadsheets to fill in the blanks to know my numbers. And I did it. I bought it, and I tried doing it, and I just still couldn't do it. Like, it's still too hard for me. And he was like, "Dude, come on, it's easy as hell." So for some people, it's really easy. For some people like me, it's really hard. I mean, I, I can't explain it. It's like I'm illiterate for numbers. I really am. Um, it literally gives me a headache when I'm trying to do math. I mean, I've been because of this year, because of how like off we were financially, and because I love my business so much, I did learn a lot more about numbers than I ever have because I really was trying to figure this out because I saw my company was like bleeding, was, you know, black guy on the curbside. And I was like, dude, I'm going to help you. I'm going to figure this out with you. And of course, I couldn't do it myself. I had to have Rachel there with me. She did probably 75% of the figuring out what was wrong. I did a lot of the gut check, like, dude, this doesn't feel right over here. We normally have more money here. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And she figured it out for me. So, you know, you got to find people that can help you with these things. Like, if you don't know your numbers, find somebody that does, pay somebody that does, like it's that important. Like I briefly mentioned, my sprinklers, the numbers aren't as good. Like we don't have full 100% confident with the sprinkler numbers like we do with say the mowing and the garden maintenance customers or revenue, right? All those numbers of what we need to make per hour are very clear in those divisions. It's not super clear with sprinklers because there's parts involved. We have a warehouse manager that we really haven't figured out into these costs, like we should. Um, there's dry time, not drive time, dry, DRY, where they do these big massive projects and then they glue things and they can't charge the customer because they can't test it, right? So we have there are days where these guys do, they're working like crazy, but didn't charge a single penny. And then the next day they'll charge them, or some of them get charged the next day because there's still more work to do. And I know you guys say, well, charge as you go, charge hourly, blah, blah, blah. It's not my business model to do that. And so I'm trying to figure out the way that will work best for us. I've done the hourly thing in the past. But anyway, my point is, we're going to try and figure out the numbers now that we have this good year. We had a really good software to track a lot of data. We had a lot of workers this year in that department, and we had a lot of revenue come in too. So I've actually reached out to a family member of mine that's the most smartest math person I know. He just happens to be a family member, and he tutors my son on math. So I was able to just really talk to him. And I told him I need help figuring out my sprinkler numbers, what we're supposed to charge with all this. And so he knew exactly what I was talking about. They call it, oh man, what do they call it? There's a name for it when you've got like mowing. It's like, dude, every man hour will bring in $800 a day. If for every 10 hours they work, they bring in $800 a day. It's just for every 10 hours they bring $800 in, and it's just consistent as hell. You can count on it. You know what I mean? Whereas, and the same thing with the garden maintenance. They do this many hours, budget hours. This is how much money they should be bringing in. It's consistent as hell. Sprinklers is not like that. It's, they could put in 10 budget hours and they could bring in, $300 an hour for those budget hours. They could bring in $3,000. But at the same time, they could bring in nothing. So the difference is like it's crazy, right? It's so volatile. There's a name for that. He knows the name for that in business when it comes to trying to figure out what your man hour rate should be, since it's so like up and down. There should be like a level hourly rate. I may have to move. The sun's creeping in on me now. So he's gonna look into that with me, and I'm gonna pay him because it's that important that we figure this out. So once we figure that out, um, it's pretty cool because the mowing is so consistent that I basically judge everything to that, right? So like you train a mow guy who has like, you know, whatever skills they have in life, they can't really apply that to mowing, right? Unless it's like work ethic, um, and maybe some mechanical stuff if equipment's down or something, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it's mowing, you know? And those guys, you can have somebody with a lot of skills mowing, and you can also hire somebody with no skills whatsoever, and they can still consistently bring in $800 a day consistently. You know what I mean? After some training, of course, it wouldn't be like day one. You'll never hire somebody who's never mowed a lawn, and they will never bring in $800 their first week a day in their first week. I mean, unless you're doing a big giant commercial property or something. I don't know. But my point is, you can have a service like mowing with no skill, and those guys can bring in $800 a day. Then you can have another service which is highly skilled, and it's highly technical, like sprinklers, where they have to have great experience not only to service the job, but to talk to the customer, explain what's happening, troubleshoot this thing, and figure it out, and try and get it done in a timely manner where you'll get paid that day, or to where there's no more issues with that problem, so that there's no callbacks. I mean, it's a big thing. And there are days where those guys don't bring in any money. And it drives me nuts because something so simple like mowing, those guys can consistently kill it. In another service like sprinklers, you got guys that they're paid more because of the skills they know, and they're dealing with customers face to face. They are not the office, because they're there at their house, and then they could bring in $0 to $100, $200. Again, now there are times where that same tech will bring in $5,000 in a day. I've seen that. So it's so up and down, but the fact that there are days that they bring in less than a mow guy, just it drives me nuts. So we're gonna try and figure out what a good hourly wage base is. Obviously, my minimum right now that I want to see a mow guy bring in is $80 an hour, because that's what the mow guys bring in. Man, this fly is killing me, dude. I'm trying to think if I've got a fly swatter. I'll be back. I do. By the way, where are we at here? Let's see if I can see the time or how long we've been live. Anyway, guys, if you scroll up, um, I've got a link so that you can join, and then we'll try and do a quick interview if you want. Let's see here. Michael, Quiet Lawn. It is tough for sure. You have to make a lot of assumptions. Nico, Griff, do you just do office work on Saturdays? And is it a full day? Also, do you do anything for your business on Sundays? No, I don't do anything on Sundays for my business. I would, but my wife is really big into keeping the Sabbath, like no work. You know what I mean? She allows me to basically work like a crazy workaholic Monday through Friday. And she's cool with it. She's made her peace with it, and she's my biggest cheerleader, and it works great. I guess her own, and she's never really flat out said, "Don't work Sundays." Maybe she has actually, but that's just like common sense too. I probably said it to myself, but that's the one thing I think. If I was working Sundays, I would really mess things up. Or Sundays, if I worked Sundays, I would really mess things up at the home front. So, and it's nice to know that she wouldn't be happy with that. So it makes me just kind of like relax that day, you know. Some of the things I do, I guess, is like sometimes I'll look at like QuickBooks on Sunday. I rarely ever look at it during the week, and I'm not saying I look at it every Sunday. I don't, you know. Once I started paying a company to do that for me, I just kind of like just let them do it. You know what I mean? Because when we meet with them, when I meet with my bookkeepers every quarter, um, I know that they're on top of it and everything looks good. So I just trust them now. But yeah, I don't really do anything on Sundays. And Saturdays are um, so the garden guys, if there's a big project, like a big landscaping project or a big giant cleanup that they maybe didn't finish on Friday, they'll come in on Saturday. Or if there's a big project that's like, good money and they can get it done on a Saturday, they'll work only if they can get it done. If it's a big project that they can start on Saturday, but they know they're not going to finish, we won't start it. It has to be completed on Saturday. Whether it's they started it on Friday and they thought they were finished but they didn't, they'll finish it on Saturday. Or if they have a job that they know they can start on Saturday and finish on Saturday, they'll do that. Garden maintenance guys. If it rains, we do make up those jobs on Saturday. So if it rained on Wednesday, they come in on Thursday, do their Thursday list, the Friday list, and then they'll do the Wednesday list on Saturday. So that's the only exception there. And then the mowing, um, first time mows, we try and do first time mows within the route of a guy. Like if there's a first time mow in, let's say, Ben's route, he'll try and do it on that day. But if they've got too many houses, we do all first time mows on Friday. If we can't put it in somebody's route during the week, we do it on Friday. And if he has too many, so we have two people come in on Friday and do first time mows, but sometimes one of those people, one of those workers, like won't finish the route, but it'll be after the other guy left. So then we do what wasn't done on Saturday, which is what we did today. We had two aerations that didn't get done yesterday, and so he did them today. That's the way. That's our Saturday. That's how our Saturday works. Our mowing schedule is Monday through Thursday, except we do kind of a big job on Friday, and one guy can do it, and he just does it. And then after that, he'll do like a first time mow if it's in that area, and then he's done for the week. And then Benito, my guy that's here fixing equipment, that guy will work every day. And I've even had him do stuff on Sunday if we're really, really desperate. The guy just loves to work, loves to make money. He makes more money probably than anybody because of the sheer hours that he puts in. Um, his his overtime is almost 70, like not 70 hours of overtime, but he'll put in like 70 hours a week pretty consistently. And I just pay all that overtime because, like today, he's fixing. Is somebody trying to get on here? Hold on, sorry guys. Waiting for guest. Might be a guest trying to get on here. He's fixing all those equipment that I put at the top of this video, or at the beginning of the video. If you were to pay a company to fix all those things that I got 2 belts that need to be replaced, 1 string needs to be longer, a tire's bent. How much would that cost? You know, if you sent that to a repair place, I mean, you're looking at $1,000 probably altogether, and he's doing it on overtime. So I think it's worth it. Bill, how many Mo customers are you servicing this year? Good question. Let me see if I can figure that out for you. My guess is 500, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Dispatch, and then I'm going to do service mowing. Come on. Oh, wrong place. I'm actually kind of curious too, now that you mention it. So I'm going to do mowing every 2 weeks, mowing weekly, and the prepays. And then we're going to do, I guess I'm going to do this week. So we'll see what number comes up. Uh, 370. And then I'm going to do next week so I can kind of come up with an every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Oh no, I guess what I'm supposed to do is look up just the every 2 weeks. See? Numbers, man. Can't even figure out what a number is on what we service. I wish I could just click a button and say, oh, this is how many Mo jobs you got. So 288, not counting every 2 weeks, for 1 week. And let's see the next one. 279. Okay, so now I'm going to do just every 2 weeks for those 2 weeks. Ooh, 166 every 2 week Mo jobs. That's a lot. Okay, 454. Let's see. And we 454, and we average about 25K a week on mowing. Seems kind of low. I don't know if I did that right. Well, that's not entirely true. We do 454, but it's not every week because of the every 2 week jobs. So I don't know. I don't know how to figure this stuff out, but that's the number. Oh no, where? Here we go. Yeah, so Bill, we got so right now we've got M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, M6, and an M7, no, M8. So we have 6 full mow guys. They'll each do, I don't even know. Let's see. So let me type in this week. So the 11th, I'll do to Thursday, Monday through Thursday. We have stuff we did on Friday, but I want to try and get it to where everybody was working. And it's gonna pull up the whole company, so it might take a minute. Dang it. Okay, now I'm gonna just pick the Mo guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So this could be cool. And yeah, this could be cool. So these stats aren't perfect because some of these have poop patrol. It'll count as 1, but it's not that many. So the numbers are going to be pretty close to accurate. But like Aaron mowed 70 lawns this week. Benito, 60. Diego, which is kind of he's our newest mow guy. He's not fast at all. We're trying to get him up there. So he's only got 35 a week. Jerson, 63. Junior, 60. 61. Marlon, 62. And Randy, he's a new guy, but he's actually, his speed is going really fast too. He's got 49. So that's what our mow guys do. And this is by themselves. You know what I mean? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys that mowed 282 budget hours worth of work. So the payroll, I won't say payroll, but the labor on mowing is so awesome. They're making great money because they're working by themselves. I can pay them more, plus they get the budget hour bonus because I pay for performance. I do performance pay. And so they make great money, and my labor is still, after taxes and after fees from payroll and all that, is 33%. So I couldn't be happier with the mowing. The only thing that would be better is if I could find more experienced guys. We could use, so even though those guys are doing all that, that's probably a little too much for everybody still. For quality to be the best, we need 8 mow guys. That would free up, probably 3 houses on everybody's list. And we're trying, like the new goal for the mowing is to try to keep everybody at about 10, 12 budget hours. Right now, some of them have 16, 18, 19 budget hours. And they're doing it. And they're fine doing it, but they it's not really sustainable, right? Like if they call off one day, we're gonna be screwed. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. So that's why I want to keep it at like 12 budget hours and focus more on quality. But it's so hard to find great workers. Hey Nico, yeah, of course you can join, bro. Yeah, join it up, bro. You need to tell me that you're doing it, so I can be ready for it. I'm still trying to figure this join thing out. It's not easy for me for some reason. Are all your Victor, are all your yards a similar size, or do you have setups for different size properties? Nope, they're all. We have the same setups for all the sizes. They're all residential. All we do is residential. We do a commercial on Friday, and it's 5 budget hours, and we just have one guy do it, and he actually took 4 hours to do it this week. And he's by himself, and he earned that extra hour budget hour for performance pay. So I think it works for us. I've talked to Nico about this last week. We're really close to possibly doing commercial lawn maintenance. And if I do that, I do want to have a separate setup, kind of like a longer setup with more equipment, so more people can go on that job together. But we don't right now. For us to do that, though, we have to be a little financially stronger, just because we got to wait for all those companies to pay us. Sorry, somebody sent me a text. I can't see that far. By the way, what do you guys think of this new setup I got here? I got my tripod almost at eye level. I'm outside. So if there were things happening, I can bring you guys along. So, yeah, and our size of property ranges from I would say 4,000 square feet to 8. Obviously, we've got a couple of bigger ones. We've got, just off the top of my head, I know we've got an 18,000 square foot property. And we have 10,000 or more property. But overall, we've got another one that's 30,000, and one person does it. But the budget hours on that is 2.5 hours or something like that, and he actually gets it done in an hour. So, the setups. It's all about the setup too, man. There's a guy that works for me that has been doing mowing on his own, like moonlighting, which we don't allow anymore. We don't allow that, but he is kind of grandfathered into that. He's just been doing that, and he's been so respectful about it. Never once have I felt stepping on my toes or anything. Never. It's done anything. One thing that was bugging me was he was using our blade sharpener. And that was kind of bugging me a little bit. I don't know why. It's great worker. And he was using my blade sharpener for his blades. And I felt like there was a gray area there where it's hey, man, you're now taking your business into mine, and you're using my stuff for the benefit of your business. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird, right? Because mentally I'm dude, what's the big deal? But my gut was I don't like that. So, yeah, I haven't noticed him using the blade sharpener since we talked, I guess. So see, he was super respectful about it. And so he says that he can do double the houses that he does on his own because of our setups. All right, I think Nico's trying to hop on here. Let's see. Yeah. Nico, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Great, dude. Hey, I don't have my headphones on, so I don't know how this. I may have to run in and get my headphones, but we'll see how it goes for now.
Okay.
How you doing, bro?
Pretty good. I didn't mean to interrupt what you were saying.
Oh no.
Was trying to join that. I have some downtime quick, so.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I'm still I don't know if you saw my little chat about how I pissed off at myself that I deleted that video, man. It was so good.
I know, I did think we were flowing pretty good. I mean, it felt natural. It wasn't like a, "What is your occupation?" and then you give some weird answer or something, so
Yeah,
I
no,
thought it was a good conversation.
yeah, for sure. It was really good. But yeah, I'm gonna get my headphones because the car drove by and I had trouble hearing you. But
Alright.
have you ever seen my shop, dude? Let's turn this around.
No.
So this is where my GM sits and the estimator. This is just kind of like a room that it's one of those rooms that's just too hot in the summer and too cold in the winter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so and it's too loud, right? Like the air that to cool this room is just so cold, or it's so loud. Sorry, that it's not worth working in there. Got a little. It's also a kitchen right here, and then this is where the CSRs work. Um,
Just on live quick. Just on the phone. Yeah. No, I'm just talking. No, you're fine. Sorry about that, neighbor.
no, you're
Uh,
good. Great. I can't find my headphones. Oh, there they are. So this is my office. Um,
do you own this or do you rent this?
no, I rent it. I do need to talk to the guy about letting me buy it because I don't know if I'm ever going to find good space like this. Um, but yeah, this is my office. This is CSR's room. We realized with how lean we're going to be nowadays, we realized that at the most we're only going to need 2 CSRs, not 4, until we're at like
Yeah.
5.5 million in revenue. So I may take this apart and just set it up, open it up a lot more, just so because we're not going to need these 2 for a long time.
What's your while you're looking at your shop, what's your opinion on guys running out of their house versus like having a shop? I mean, at one point, did you run out of like a garage or a storage unit or something? Or
Yeah, briefly. Um, Sorry, I still didn't connect to my phone. Sorry, I don't. And I'm scared to hop out of this because then it freezes, man.
yeah,
Really annoying. So let's see if I can. Oh yeah. Oh well. If it turns on, it turns on. Um. So I ran out of my house until I was at 250k. Um. I was running out of space. I even like half of the side of my house. I put concrete down. Um, at the time, it was my another house. I put concrete on the side and a shed in the back, so I had enough room to put 2 like 20-foot trailers like in front of each other.
yeah,
So what I did was that's how we'd park the trailer and truck as far back as we could, unhitch the trailer, take the truck out, bring the other truck in, and sometimes we parked it and just left it there, or we'd take it apart and then lock the gate. So just those 2 trailers were back there, full of equipment. Um, and then I would have done it for a long time, but I saw a place that was only $900 a month, and it was a garage, and it had like a little office. And I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it because I want I want a place for my guys to meet. That was the other thing too. You got to think about that.
yeah,
Like my guys were parking at my house, and dude, you know how guys are. You know how you know how workers can be. They parked in front of my garage, like in front of my driveway, so my wife couldn't get out to go to work, dude.
yeah.
So I
I
was
know what you mean.
all right. I got to do something here. You know what I mean? And so I was looking for a place, and the headphones are working.
Okay,
Um, at least it was. Then it still stopped working. Oh, because it's on my
is it
computer.
connecting to your laptop? Yeah.
Shit. Hold on. Sorry, dude. I got to take it off the computer. No wonder it wasn't syncing up. I never felt so old than I did when I met you, and I'm doing this live thing, and I can't figure out how it works. And then the head, like, what the hell is happening here? I'm gonna try this again. Oh, that's the wrong one. There we go. Disconnect. Forget. Okay, now it should work on this other phone.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it's still on the regular.
AirPod trouble. Dude, one
Anyway,
thing that changed the whole game for me was getting AirPods and mowing and stuff, and these are awesome, but if you have multiple devices like you have, they connect to whatever the hell they want, kinda,
I know. So
which is
annoying.
annoying, but
Yeah. So did you are you said you had that little shop, right? You got a little shop, don't you?
Yep, so I have, like, it's like 1,500 square foot, and it's kinda like yours. Um, I just have a small garage space. I have way too much, like, office per shop, what I'd want.
Yeah.
It has a decent lot on the back, which is basically the reason I got it, and it was really cheap for where it was. It's on a really good road here, and I have signage and stuff, so that's good, but, uh,
And what
it's a
was
lot
your
more office than I
you
need.
got that?
What's that?
What was your revenue when you got that?
Uh, like 140,
Yeah. I think getting a
which
shop is important. I heard somebody say that your shop price should be at, like, to feel good about it, should be at 3% at whatever your revenue is. And I know at the beginning that's going to be a little different, like, you know, it might not be that small if your revenue, like if you're just starting out, but I think it's important to have a shop to meet with
yeah,
people, have customers even come in. I had a customer one
yep,
time come to my house with a check, but she went to the wrong block first, and it was like
yeah,
house, similar address. So she thought she was at mine, and the yard was like disgusting, nasty. She said
yeah,
so she felt bad, like she didn't want to pay. She didn't want to have my service because she thought that was my lawn. But then I guess when she knocked on the door, they realized that it was the wrong place. So then she found my house, and it was like really nice. And she was like, "Okay, that's cool," because I took care of my lawn. That's what I used to take care of my lawn. Like spend way too much time on my lawn. Um, and and then she told me that story, and that's just another reason why you don't want to have like that image of a house where a customer can see it because they make their own judgments about things.
yeah, and there's even, which this might be bad, I don't know if you do this, but I had a guy who used to work for me, and he lived in a duplex, kinda on a not so good side of town here. And his yard was always, like, 5 foot high, they'd never mow it, I don't know why, I even told him bring mower home and clean it up because 'cause he'd park my truck there at night, I'm like, "Dude, no offense, but I don't want my truck sitting at this, like, the crappiest property in the town." Like,
Yeah,
obviously, they know you either work for me or whatever, and, like, you don't even maintain your own yard. So I finally went over there and mowed it for him because I don't know, it's a big image thing, I mean, you don't want
yeah,
your yard or your trucks at shit yards, so
for sure. Yeah. And then not only that, like one last thing about why I had to move from there was that like sometimes the guys would show up to my house like really early, and just they were talking, and it was so loud that like my kids and my wife, it was like there was no wall, and they're trying to sleep. It's like 6 in the morning, and like they're like, "Damn, shut up." So you
yeah, and
need to
you have to be pretty trustworthy to send, like, not so much random because you obviously know them a little bit, but guys, like, to your house in the middle of the day to grab stuff out of your garage or grab something from the backyard that's in here, and, like, if your kids are home or your wife's home, like, I don't know,
totally.
you never know people's intent, like, at all, so
Yeah, I actually, my early days, I had one of my early workers too was a girl who was, she was helping out, whatever, and she had to come to my house a couple of times, and that could be kind of awkward too. You know what I mean? Um,
yeah.
and anyway, it kind of ended badly where she was like, I had to let her go because like she's taking way too long to do these jobs or whatever. And so I was telling her, hey, I'm gonna let you go. And then she's like, okay, well, don't write up any paperwork because I hurt my finger yesterday and I didn't tell you about it. And I'm like, dude, when you first start out, like you might be in that stage where somebody threatens to do workers' comp, you're gonna be like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Uh, or you know what I mean? Like things can be a little scary at first.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh damn, like, but I was like, no, you didn't report it. I come from a management background, so I'm familiar with like reporting things and doing things the right way and like stuff like that. And I was like, you didn't report it right. You have access to my email. You've always been emailing me. You never said anything, so you had every opportunity to tell me. And I did all this by email. But anyway, she was really upset with me, and I don't remember what she said something, but she was like going to tell my wife. That's what she said. It's like, well, I guess I'm going to tell your wife about. I think it was about that. You know what I mean? Because I definitely didn't do anything wrong, as far as like
Yeah.
inappropriate. But she was going to tell my wife something. Like, dude, what? And so anyway, that's another thing. Like, you get people too close to your house, like it can get messy. You know what I mean?
What do you think about getting
You broke up after getting, and I think you froze up. There you are.
Could you say
You
me
said,
again?
"What do you think about what?"
Um, what do you think about, like, because you can obviously become pretty good friends with people over the time that they work for you, but do you think you can get too good of friends with them, like, as far as hanging out with them outside of work too much, and then they get too comfortable in the workplace and then kinda don't take you as serious? Uh,
No, I don't think so. I think that could be good for business, for relationships at work. Um, I just don't do it myself, to be honest with you. Not because I just have so much going on in my own personal house that I feel like if I spend more time and like my family doesn't really like they support me in anything. Like I always say, they're my champions and cheerleaders, but they don't want to be around my work friend, like my workers. They don't,
yeah.
Not that they have anything against them, but they're like, dude, you're always talking about work already. The last thing I want to do is now like go to your work, even if we're bowling or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like me personally, if I work already too much to do that to my family. I feel like that would be a slap in my family's face if I'm not with them when I'm not at work. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I just don't do it. But I feel like I see it all the time, and I feel like, dude, that's great. I have a really good friend, Roy. I don't know if you know Roy from Roy's Lawn Care in the Seattle area, and
No.
he goes camping with everybody. They all go camping together. Uh, and his family's like involved with it too, and I think that works because of that. But like for me, I just can't. I've had good intentions. Like sometimes I wanted to go like do a certain like hobby that one of my guys does. I want to go do it with them, and we'll even say, hey, I want to bring my son so I can do that with you. Is that cool? And it's like, yeah, let's just do it. Like it's just big excitement, but then I just never end up doing it. Uh, but I think I am lacking on that. Like I think you should do that. Um, but yeah, I've had family members work for me, and I'm too worried about my business. So like I don't have any problems firing a nephew. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
no problem whatsoever. Like I'm so comfortable with it that it freaks my wife out. Because she thinks like the whole family's gonna think bad about me because I fired somebody, and I'm like, dude, if they don't give me 100%, they don't want to work here. I don't want them here. So that could be the same kind of thing with a worker, right? With like somebody that's not a family member. It's like you're cool with them, and if they might, here's my thing too is like I'm the owner of this business, so I'm always like thinking about like HR and and all that kind of stuff. So if I, there have been times where somebody asks for cash advance, and I give them cash advance. If I was really good friends with somebody, maybe they have that dirt on me that, hey, you've paid cash to some workers. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the more like close you are with a worker, the more kind of dirt they can pick up on you. So if you were ever to
Yeah.
fire them, they could probably use some of those things against you. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
so that's the other thing too. It's like you don't want to get too comfortable, because if you really want the best for what's best for your company, you might need to fire them sometime, and they're going to feel so betrayed that they may retaliate in some way like that. So that's, I
You
don't
don't
know.
have a problem with hiring family?
No, no, I actually
Because
really
you
like.
don't have a problem firing 'em.
Yeah, because I don't have a problem firing them. I would guess what I would tell anybody doing it is like, tell your family that, I have no problems
Mhm.
firing you if, you know, oh, like I'd tell their parents too. Like I've talked to my nephew's parents that I've hired, and like, hey, I'm willing to give them a shot, but don't take it personally if I let them go. I fire good people if they don't give me 100%. It's just the way I'm built. And they love that, right? The parents are like, oh, well, that's great. That means he's got to work really hard. You're not going to let him go. You're not going to let him slide, with like easy. You're going to build work ethic in this kid. So they actually like it. I've given people second chances too. I've given this one nephew that comes to mind. He's worked for me probably 3 times, and he goes through phases. Right, he goes through his little drug phase, all these phases, and it's like, you're done for this year, you know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
as you always hear, don't hire friends and family. I've hired family, a couple brothers before, and it does get weird, like, especially as they're my older brothers, and I'm like, "Hey, we're gonna do this, this, and this, and vacuum the car and all this stuff," and, uh, like, it's weird with me because 'cause I'm the youngest of all my brothers, and they do not like being told by me what to do, especially when making them kinda do busy work if, like, it's raining or something, like, "No, I'm not fucking vacuuming the trucks." I'm like, "Dude, you want paid or what?"
yeah,
I'm trying to just give you some money, basically.
exactly.
But
One thing though, I hired my brother one time, and he was the best worker, man. The best. Um, he was so good with customers. He was so good with customers that, um, like when the next year, like basically, I had customers saying that they didn't want to come back unless he was going to be mowing,
yeah.
and but he got into drugs, and he ended up being really toxic. Finally got the headphones to work. Yay! And good thing, because he's starting up a mower now. But yeah, so it got to the point where like I hated to come into work because he was there. Like I literally was at the point where thinking the only way to get rid of this guy is if I shut my business down, and we literally don't have the business anymore. Then he'll have to quit. So that's how
Is
that's
he
how that's
older or
that's
younger than
probably
you?
why he's younger than me. But
Younger?
he's younger, but he's very big personality, big, strong dude. Big, he's like 6'3", all muscle kind of thing, and you know what I mean. Very intimidating. Um, and he was on some stuff. He was on some stuff that was just like I didn't want him here anymore.
I know
And
one of my brothers I hired, he's an older brother, and he's not, like, very big. He's not bigger than me, by any means, but he just has that personality, like, if I asked him a question, he'd say, like, every answer you get from him is like, "Are you fucking serious?" Like, "Yes." Like, obviously, like, very straightforward, and it's almost like, "Okay, dude, sorry, like, didn't mean to ask you why you're 5 minutes late," kinda thing.
yeah,
Uh, so I've had people and I've had actually workers like that where it's like, "Dude, you're way too serious about, like, it's my business, and I need to know why you're late or why you didn't get this yard done," and you're like have this look in your eyes like you wanna fight me right now for some reason, and I'm not even, like, freaking out. I'm just being like, then you
Yeah.
gotta get 10 done instead of 9, like,
Right.
how do you go
Yeah.
about, um, people with you obviously have to give leeway on, like, personal issues with kids or family and stuff, but, as far as, like, sick days and stuff, do you have, like, a point system or a tally system if they call in too much or are late or
Yeah. So you have to have like ground rules, right? It's like, hey, I want you here at 7. That's when you're the best employee. No later than 7:30. So you have 30 minutes basically of leeway.
Yeah.
Um, if people start coming in later, we do have talks with them, but I kind of look at like I'm leaning more towards this year being more like, hey, this is the way it is. I'm giving you everything I possibly can, so I can't feel bad if I set these rules, right? Because I kind of feel like I do give a lot, and what I ask for is just sometimes I feel like some of the guys are entitled, right? So it's like
Mhm.
I'm giving you the most any company is going to give you that I believe. I believe no company in this industry will give you what I'm giving you in this area. Me personally, so I don't feel bad that I'm asking you to come in at 8:30 or whatever time. You know what I mean? But I am somebody that historically like goes by each individual person, right? I'm not somebody
Yeah.
that's like 7 o'clock. If you're late, then you're getting a write up. That's just the way it is. Like I'm not really like that, but I'm starting to become like that because I literally am at the top of my, um, I guess, benefit package pay structure. Like I literally am giving so much that I'm starting to see the like the I'm starting to get a little resentful because of entitlement issues that I'm seeing because I'm giving, 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 and yes, people are making money and they're working and they give me in their minds they're giving me everything they can, but they maybe don't come in on time or they think they can just call off the morning of. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
starting to get a little frustrated with some of those things, but I do always kind of look at performance. So like if my rule is 7 o'clock. Um, but somebody comes in at like 7:30, but they finish their budget hours 4 hours ahead of time. You know what I'm saying? I tend to kind of look the other way because I have that muscle where it's like, oh, but he's a badass, so
Yeah.
he's gonna get it done. And I don't really have too many like people that are like take advantage of times, and I have pretty much everybody's pretty good. I would say, it's like if like 10 is the best, my worst is probably a 7, and it's one person that everybody knows who it is. And we kind of need somebody like that we can give the junk jobs to, or if somebody needs to fill in, there he is. So we're not going to fire him because he's the janitor of the company. You know what I mean? But then we've
Yeah.
got like
That's funny.
everybody's basically like
Yeah.
an 8 to a 10. So because everybody's pretty good, I tend to kind of like look away if somebody a badass is doing something not illegal, but like that is late or something weird. That's not super bad. I've just always been that way. I'm like that with my phone people. Like I got a phone person that just sells and sells and sells. They called off. It's all right. You know what I mean? It's like because I don't know. So that's kind of how I am. But as we are at this size now, giving as much as we can, and we were hurting financially, we're leaning more towards, we are asking you to do things now. We have written more people up this year than we've ever done. You know what I mean? We've written 2 people up because they didn't want to mow, because they were in the garden division and they refused to mow, and I was like, well, you're fired then. So they were fired. Well, they quit, but then they came back because they were kind of like, oh shit, you're really gonna fire us? Like, yeah, if you're not gonna mow, you're not going to work here. So you're getting written up. And then there's a guy who didn't hit his budget hours like consistently, and he's kind of new. So he got written up, and he's basically on his last warning. So we're starting to do that more, which is, I think, more acceptable because we're bigger now than you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like I said, we offer benefits and we've got like a waiting list of people that want to work here pretty much. I mean, not really, but yes, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
We don't just hire anybody now because we don't have any room. Like if we hired somebody um, in the mowing division, I think that division would be fine, but the gardens would be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, you know, you're just giving some guy our hours. Like that's how it is right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Um, and the same with sprinklers. So and during the beginning of the season, we did have quite a list of candidates that wanted to work here. So we are being a little more like our standards are getting raised up internally because it's just natural to do that. But when I was, you know, under a million, I was very lenient with everybody.
Well, and you can be way more lenient, as you were saying, like, per person, per employee when you're running those single man crews. Because if it was a two-man crew and the one guy's always late and maybe he's the one that drives or something, then it'd probably be a whole different story, right?
Yeah, exactly. But when I was by myself, sorry, I think you're still talking. Are you or no?
No.
Okay. When I was bowling by myself, that's when I fired the most people.
Oh, really?
Because I was like, I could do the job of two people. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
I can do work of mine and yours together. So if you're not going to be here every day, I don't want you here. So I had zero tolerance during those times because I knew I could do it myself and I needed reliable people. That's kind of how I started with 1 to 2 people. But yeah,
Have you ever looked into, the, like, Isuzu dovetail 16-foot beds?
yeah, yeah. I mean, when I see one for sale, I definitely stop, look at it. Uh, I
You've never pulled the trigger on one?
No, no, I don't need to. Like, I basically have 10-foot Isuzu dovetails, but with my trucks. You know what I mean? You know,
Yeah.
so I don't need that. I don't
I
need
just
that
didn't know
extra
if, like,
space.
commercial if you ever got in a commercial, you could fit probably 3 mowers on that versus,
Yeah,
like, the 2 on a
yeah,
10-foot.
true. Um, yeah, I'm not there yet. But I do think about it. Like, if I do go to the commercial route when my finances are a little stronger, and we decide that we can, have a crew and pay them for 3 months before we get a check or whatever. You know how it is. Um,
Mhm.
I will probably get something like that. Yeah, and I still
Have
look
you
at them
ever
like they're
seen
still really inspiring to get. If it was a good price, I probably, maybe not this week, but there are times where if I see a good deal on a Isuzu dovetail, and it's gas too, I'll get it. I don't get anything diesel.
Oh, you don't?
No, but uh, through through some of those meetings that I go to every 3 months, I've talked to some people because you can buy like lawn accounts from high school kids pretty much every year, and a lot of those
Yeah.
guys will have like um, diesel, like a diesel truck and some weird equipment that they thought was a good idea, and they'll want me to buy that with their clients, and I always say no. But going to those meetings, they said buy the damn things, buy them because that'll, you can sell it. Just buy it,
Yeah.
sell the equipment, but you got the customers. And it was just like something so simple that I kind of overlooked all the time. So I'm gonna start buying them if it comes up as part of a deal. But I just never have. Because I have had diesel equipment when I first not diesel a diesel truck when I first started, and I put the wrong gas in one time, and it really like messed me up for 2 days or however long before they siphoned it all out, and uh, and I just didn't want to do that again. So it's like, just
Yeah.
gas, just getting gas.
Those trucks that you have those big, cages on, do a lot of those have plows on them, or you don't have plows on any of those cage trucks?
No, we don't have any. No, we don't have any on there. It's I need shovel guys too, so those little trucks are good for gas. I do have two 4-wheel drive. Two of them are 4-wheel drive, and we use them for snow shoveling driveways and stuff. But we don't put plows on them yet. When I do go to new vehicles, which is my goal for next year, I don't know if I'm going to get all new Mo trucks, but I'm definitely going to try and get two to start at the beginning of the year. and I might put plows on them. But the thing is, I'm going to take the beds off. So I've been saving the beds for quite a while now. Let me show you here. This is why I want to do it outside now, because I can kind of see what's going on out here too. Ben, everything going good? What happened here? Oh, aerator? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, so here are my plows. So M4, this is just a regular Chevy 1500 two-door. That one's four-wheel drive, and so is this one. And they're just little trucks, but they work good in the snow. But no
So those
plows.
are shovel crew trucks.
Yeah.
Like shovel snow blowers.
Yep. Yeah, and we keep the trailer. We do keep the back for them, for those. But I don't know if we would for the plows just because of the noise factor. You know what I mean? But
Do you salt a lot, or with residentials you probably don't salt that much, do you?
yeah, we salt every sidewalk and driveway.
But you don't have any, or you have those hitch spreaders right there.
Yeah,
I was
we've got
asking, I was getting at if
5
you
of
had
them.
any big box spreaders.
Oh no, we don't.
Obviously, you can't, or do those cages have like you can't put that hitch thing on there? Like, can you remove the dovetail of
Yeah.
it and there's a hitch still? Or
No, we started putting hitches on them.
oh, nice, yeah.
Um,
So you could have that spreader on, but then you'd have to take it off to like get the cage
yeah.
open.
No, it sounds silly, but the shovel guys rather use these buckets.
Yeah.
They fill that up and they just kind of go like that, and if it works, whatever. We've got the blue little spreaders, like the really nice ones that you advertise with and stuff, but nobody uses them. This is
Yeah.
an extra truck here. This is one we made. Like, I made the cage half the size of the other one, because I actually wanted to make it even shorter, but the guy felt like to hold the door, he wanted it up higher. You know what I mean? Or the gate. Um,
So
so
those are all mainly custom cages that you get?
yeah.
Have you ever
So
thought about switching to the straight ramp rack, or you don't like it as much as
yeah.
your cages?
No, we've got ramp rack right here. I like the ramp rack for the garden crews.
Oh,
It's so
okay.
easy. You keep the bed in there. They don't really need to bring the mowers up, but if they did, it would fit no problem. You know what I mean? Um, it's just a simple setup. I really like it. But
And it's universal, so you can throw that on different trucks, like, if that truck went down quick.
yeah, right. But these, I mean, this is no comparison. I don't know, like, oh, sorry. Sorry. I clicked something and it's got a bunch of, oh shit. All right. So this box, pretty big. It's probably 5 feet long, maybe 6, and it's probably 4 feet high. I'm
Yeah.
guessing maybe, yeah, about 4 feet. You fill it up with grass, right? Look, one hand. If this thing was full, you can do it with one hand still, because we've got the hitch basically like in the middle of the truck, not at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
So we dump it. Um, these gates, the door here opens up. Oh shit! Probably not a good idea. It's full of stuff. All right. Well, and then it just dumps out. Obviously not right here, but game changer. So there's probably 3 companies at one point around here that were doing this, and they had issues because of the hinges were all the way at the end of the box, so it was really heavy to lift up if it was full. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've seen them to where they just completely done away with those. And then I showed one of them this new design, lifted up with one hand, and it was halfway full. And you can totally do it when it's full. In fact, you can't even climb in this box. You can't climb in it on this side. You just can't because it will keep swinging down on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so even when it's shut down, and when I showed them the thing with one hand, they were like, "Holy shit!" You know, like they didn't know that you could do that. They would have kept it. So those are I love that setup, um, and it just
Why do you
works. Like I
guys
said,
oh my bad.
no, it's just yeah.
Is
Go
that
ahead.
is that a big thing around you to bag all the grass every time?
Yeah, yeah. What
Or
kind of
is that
grass do you
something that
guys have?
you like to do? So we have
No,
like fescue,
so we
we
have
don't have
Kentucky
any like
bluegrass.
yeah, we
We have
really don't have
Kentucky
that unless
bluegrass.
somebody's yeah, really like taking care of their yard here. 'Cause I know like
Yeah,
centipede grass and stuff, I the guys I've talked to like never ever bag anything. They just do that scalping of it,
yeah,
which I don't know what that does, whatever, but yeah, then
yeah,
some places like you obviously have to do you have to bag or you guys choose to bag more? Or for the
yeah.
health
We
of the
have
grass you bag?
you have to. It gets too thick. You know, um, the grass grows really thick.
Yeah,
You don't have to every lawn. You know what I mean? Like this guy, we we clean their bag. We clean their trucks every morning. And today he only had like you could see it's like super smooth and clean on this side. Just that end over there had a little pile.
yeah.
So this guy did probably 12 houses yesterday, and he only had to bag one. You know, um, so it's up to the mow guy, but it's also has to look good. Why is there? What is going on here? Tires.
Hmm.
Oh, I wonder if they got new tires on this truck. They did. Look at that. So we had a conversation with my mechanic. If you get new tires, keep the old tires. Don't
Mm,
let the tire shop keep them because we could use those.
yeah,
I know those are things you got to think about once you get, all these trucks. I mean, there's tomorrow something when Monday something is going to be wrong with one of these. It just is. You know what I mean? It just
yeah,
is. And so um, to have like those tires back up is just another thing we got to start doing. Um, and we actually got a good deal. So we found this. Well, there's this company that's a tire place that. So these tires were 120 bucks each.
yeah,
I mean that's pretty cheap for a commercial tire. Like a good tire. Like they said, it's good for snow too. It's because they
Do you
bought
have
bulk and they told us that they're going to give us this price if we buy all our tires from them.
yeah, I was gonna say, do you try to take advantage of, like, fleet programs and stuff with all those vehicles?
Yeah.
If you
Like
can, I mean
Yeah, so, like, that guy actually showed up to my shop. The owner of that tire place, like, walked to my shop and was like, "Hey, where do you buy your tires from?" And I was like, "Just anywhere, good price." And he's like, "All right, I've got this." We bought a whatever he bought, and he said $120, and my mechanic just happened to be here that day. And so he said he didn't have the price on him that moment when he was telling me, but he said, "Guarantee the cheapest brand new tires you'll buy, and they're good tires." So that day, I talked to Jose. I'm like, "Well, let's try it out, and if you do buy those tires, keep the old ones that are good, you know, because we could use them if we get some kind of weird flat that we need." So, and that's how that whole thing transpired. Um,
do you have your, which I don't even know if it's set up anymore, but do you have your spray truck there? Or your
no,
old spray rig?
no,
Or
I
did you
don't.
disassemble everything?
Yeah, I disassembled it, and we actually uh, turned it into a garden truck. So like,
How are you liking that deck in that truck? Is that for
oh, love it.
irrigation? You have
Yeah,
that
love
decked
it.
box?
Yeah, love it. So this is a fertilizer truck, and this bed, just the bottom part of it, just the bottom flat part was the was back here on this
Okay.
thing. And then since we didn't fertilize a couple years ago, we built this whole thing for the gardeners, and then we just moved it onto this truck. And then I bought this, or this was on another truck I bought, and I put it on there. And I have another, like we save all the beds too.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then there's
I
yeah.
see.
So that little this bed I bought for like super cheap. I don't know, $1,200 or something. Um, and that was on here for a while, but it didn't have the walls like this. So
Yeah.
we put this one on there and just kept that one back there. But yeah, we started keeping those for the winter time because like this would be okay to drive in the winter. This one's fine, but like this would not be good because they can't see behind them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like even with these, like you can't even though it's kind of clear, you can't really see behind you. So we put these license plates with the cameras on them, and so they're always showing like the reverse inside.
Do you still
Um,
have don't you have, like, a van?
I just sold it.
Oh, you did. What did you
Yeah,
use that for? That van?
sprinklers at first. Yeah, I've always used it for sprinklers, but then we started making those other setups, and then this one too was a sprinkler truck. I'm trying to sell this one. It's got 70,000 miles. It's an S10. Everything works on it except the fender. We had to pull it one day, and the fender got like pulled off. I didn't tie it very good. Um, but yeah, so
Yeah.
and this one's got a nice little setup for sprinklers too, or whatever else you want to use. Um, yeah, I took off the company name, but I left like that in case somebody wants to buy it. It's already like says sprinklers on it, repair and installation. But I took the logo off. So I'm trying to sell this, but it's weird because it's a good truck, 70,000 miles. Um, it doesn't. It's not like the toughest truck in the world. It's like actually really pretty weak, but it's a little S10 that's carrying that big box, you know. So and nobody wants it. It's really weird. So yeah.
Huh.
Do you
Do
try and
you
sell anything?
yeah, I'll sell, like, old trucks, but sometimes, like, I have to end up basically giving them away because yeah, people come and nitpick everything, and
Yeah,
I mean, at that point, if you put 3K into a truck, like, "Oh, Imma keep it now, I'll just use it for, like, a backup,
totally.
I guess."
Exactly. Yeah. I basically keep my trucks until they die. I'm selling that one because we literally have no use for it. And the van too. Um, and so that's the other thing, just to cut costs. Like we have these vehicles that are just sitting in the yard, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like we're paying, I don't know, $150 or something like that for insurance on each one. So
And then it's taking up space where if you got more guys, if you needed more parking or something, and it's just sitting there and
exactly. Yeah, and the backups,
uh,
I've just got to the point where it's like I'd rather have just enough trucks for everybody. Like that one truck that I showed you, low battery, so I don't want to get disconnected like we did that one time. So may need to end
oh,
it
yeah.
here soon. But yeah, it was nice chatting with you again, dude.
Yeah, yeah, you too.
All right,
Um,
should we make this like a normal thing?
I don't care. I don't mind talking. I think it's cool when you like what you just said, walk around, kind of show
Yeah,
your stuff, kind of give. I think the coolest video you ever did, which this is a hype up and a put down kind of because you only, from what I've seen, done a couple of
yeah,
them, but like your morning routine videos, those are so cool. I
yeah,
don't know why. Like the guys are coming in, you're showing them going into trucks and shit, and
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Awesome.
maybe that's just my case though. But
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I know. It's always better to do show things rather than just sitting there. I never really liked it, but I always thought it was easy for me to do, and
yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. But all right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on today,
All right, sounds good.
and I'll catch you on the next one.
All right, sounds good.
All right, see ya.
See ya.